The penultimate match of the round is here, and with a pairing like this, you know saving the best for last is nothing but a myth. On the one side, we have the reigning master of faster, a creator of miracles, the captain of Team 5Ds, Yusei Fudo! On the other side of the arena, we have a patroller of time, a genius of tech, and a fellow member of Team 5Ds' Antinomy! Time to dive into the decks. Starting with Yusei's deck, he has a 60-card synchro pile. He can synchro climb, but it starts at level 5 and can't get too high without using up his signature Stardust Dragon. He has several cards that can search, stall, and recover, but with the full capacity deck, he'll need the might of the Crimson Dragon to miracle draw every card of the duel. If he does get past his level 8 monsters, he has monsters with Omni Negates, Board Wipes, and Protection. The odds aren't in his favor, but maybe the power of his friends by his side can change that. But before that though, let's see the opponent. This Iliaster co-founder and Yusei's most complicated friend plays Tech Genius, a deck that was far ahead of its time in terms of its playstyle. They can not only swarm the field and access Synchro, but when they get destroyed, they all can search a new monster from the deck. This deck is extremely fluid with a single focused strategy in mind and the ability to dodge certain effects by performing synchro summons during the opponent's turn. He even upgraded his deck with the Tech Genius Link monster, who has the potential to summon out 3 monsters for him. His access synchros all aim to negate your opponent's lines of plays from summoning to effect activation. His side deck not only supports his ability to synchro, but it provides him with the Assault Mode package for a touch of flair and style in his performance. These two decks, similar to the duelists that wield them, are oh so similar, yet so very different. Who will move on to round 2? Let's find out! Ready, set, duel! We're looking for an exciting match as two kings of the Synchro Summon duke it out towards the end of this round. Antinomy's gonna be going first, setting a card and normal summoning the Tech Genius Catapult Dragon from his hand. 900 attack points, this Catapult Dragon can special summon a level 3 or lower tuner monster from the hand, so he gets out the Cyber Magician in defense mode. Setting another card, Antinomy then follows things up with the TGX 300 continuous spell card, providing a 300 attack boost to every monster on his side of the field for each Tech Genius monster that he controls, bringing the Dragon Catapult up to 1500 before ending his turn. And on Yusei's turn, he simply sets 3 and passes. Next move, Antinomy's gonna switch the Cyber Magician to attack mode, swing with 600, and then swing with 15 with the Catapult Dragon, putting Yusei at 5900, passing a turn with a third card of his own in his back row. Yusei still does absolutely nothing and passes his turn. Gear Zombie will now hit the field with 1500 alongside the 1800 of the Catapult and the now 900 of the Cyber Magician, all 3 attacking directly, all 3 attacks going through successfully. Yusei is nearing the danger zone with only 1700 life points left, and he hasn't activated a single card, and he still won't, as he sets a monster and sets a 4th card in his spell or trap card zone. What could he possibly be waiting for? Maybe this will give us some hindsight as we see the TGX1 HL get activated face down. This quick play spell card allows Antinomy to target a Tech Genius monster that he controls, destroy a spell or trap on the field, and then reduce the attack and defense of that monster by half. So he's going to cut his weakest monster down to 450 to destroy the face down 0 force, which could have changed the attack and defense of all monsters on Antinomy's field to 0 when one of Yusei's monsters left the field. And next, the 3 monsters will be used together to link summon the Tech Genius Trident Launcher with 2200 attack points. When Trident Launcher gets link summoned, Antinomy can summon 3 Tech Genius monsters, 1 from the hand, 1 from the deck, and 1 from the grave, as long as they are all in defense mode and they go into the 3 zones that Trident Launcher points to. Trident Launcher's ability will resolve now, summoning out the Jet Falcon, Cyber Magician, and Catapult Dragon. Catapult Dragon will be tuned by the level 3 tuner Jet Falcon for the level 5 synchro, the Power Gladiator, who can deal piercing battle damage and has 3200 thanks to the ability of the TGX 300. And Jet Falcon will fling 500 points of damage Yusei's way since it was used for a Synchro Summon, leaving him with 1200 life points. The Power Gladiator attacks the face-down monster, threatening to end this duel, and we see Yusei flip over the defense draw so that he doesn't take piercing off of the 0 defense point turbo booster that he had set face down, and he gets to draw an additional card. That still leaves the Trident Launcher to attack directly, however, and we see Yusei had the card defense trap card, allowing him to send a card from the hand to the graveyard to negate a direct attack and then draw a new card to replace the one that he threw out. So he pitches the Necro Defender from his hand, stops the Link monster, and draws again for his turn. But he is at an overwhelming disadvantage in field presence. What can he make happen for himself? And we see him pitch the Junk Converter from his hand along with the Tuner monster, the Converging Wills Dragon, so that Junk Converter can search for any Synchron monster from the deck, and Yusei adds to his hand the Junk Synchron, who he then normal summons, but that gets stopped in its tracks as Antinomy has the face-down counter trap card, Gravity Collapse. When the opponent would summon a monster, as he was about to because of the ability of the Junk Synchron to revive a level 2 or lower monster from the grave, Gravity Collapse can negate the summon and then destroy the monster. And Yusei is not allowed to summon any more monsters for the remainder of this turn, at the sacrifice of a Synchro monster on Antinomy's field. With no other monsters he could possibly play, Yusei sets a card and passes his turn again. Cyber Magician moving into attack mode, along with the Tech Genius Striker in attack mode with 17. We see Scrubbed Raid get flipped over during the battle phase of Antinomy's turn. Scrubbed Raid allows Yusei to send a card that he controls to the graveyard in order to end the entire battle phase, getting rid of the last card that was on his side of the field. He has bought himself one more turn, and he sets and passes it back, making absolutely zero leeway here. And we see Antinomy use the new Tech Genis Warwolf, tuning it with the Tech Genis Striker for the level 5 Tuner Synchro Wonder Magician. 1900 attack, going up to 2800 with the 300 continuous spell. One more card being sacrificed for Scrub Raid, ending this battle phase as well. And Yusei does have a monster that he maybe can use for Synchros. It doesn't look like he's going to do that at this moment, though, as he starts his main phase with the Parallel Twister, destroying a Speller Trap on his side of the field to destroy one other card, popping the Trident Launcher. So now the biggest monster on Antinomy's field is gone, but he still has a sizable Synchro that he has to get rid of as well. He flips over the Regen Warrior, a level 4 monster, and normal summons the level 1 tuner Turbo Synchron, tuning them together for the Junk Speeder Synchro monster. On its Synchro Summon, the Junk Speeder can summon out as many monsters as possible, as long as A, they are all tuners, B, they are all Synchrons, and C, they all have different levels from each other. So we see Drill Synchron, Stardust Synchron, Satellite Synchron, Quick Draw Synchron, and Jet Synchron hit the field all in defense mode. And on summon, Stardust Synchron will add a spell or a trap card from the deck that has Stardust Dragon mentioned in its effect, so he grabs the Majestic Absorption spell card, before tuning off the Junk Speeder with the level 1 Jet Synchron for the level 6 Stardust Assault Warrior with 2100. Not big enough to get over the Wonder Magician, however, on Synchro Summon, Stardust Assault Warrior can special summon a tuner from the graveyard, and he also gets the ability of the Jet Synchron. Since it got sent to the graveyard for a Synchro Summon, he gets a Junk monster added from his deck to his hand. So Jet Synchron will fetch the Junk Converter, and the Assault Warrior summons out the Converging Wills Dragon that was pitched by a Junk Converter earlier on in this duel. Now, still Synchro climbing, he tunes the level 6 Stardust Assault Warrior with the level 2 Satellite Synchron for the level 8 Signer Dragon, Stardust Dragon! Stardust Dragon being on the field allows him to activate the Majestic Absorption spell card now. Targeting a Stardust Dragon or a Synchro monster that mentions it, he can either equip one face-up monster that the opponent controls to that dragon, allow the dragon to attack directly this turn, or whenever it destroys a monster by battle, deal damage equal to the destroyed monster's original attack, and he chooses to equip the Wonder Magician onto itself so that it is off of the field. Stardust moving into the battle phase attacks over the Cyber Magician, but that will get met with the face down trap card Sonic Stun. When the opponent declares an attack, Sonic Stun allows you to negate that attack and then summon a Tech Genius monster or a level 4 or lower tuner from the hand or from the deck. So we see the Rush Rhino coming out to defend Antinomy's life points with 22, while also bumping up Cyber Magician by an extra 300 to a total of 600. And with all of his other monsters in defense mode, Yusei will end his turn. Now, Antinomy will tune the Rush Rhino with the Cyber Magician in order to synchro summon the Tech Genius Star Guardian with 2200 defense. On its synchro summon, Star Guardian will add the Jet Falcon from the graveyard back to the hand, who will then get normal summoned with 1400 attack points, bumping itself up to 2000 since there's a total of 2 Tech Genius on the field. And the other effect of Star Guardian activates now, special summoning a Tech Genius from the hand, so the Metal Skeleton will get special summoned as well, a level 2 monster. And that gets tuned with the level 3 Jet Falcon for the Power Gladiator, a second copy. Jet Falcon, of course, dealing 500 on the Synchro Summon, and Power Gladiator will get tuned by the 5-star Tuner Synchro Star Guardian for the Shooting Star Dragon Tech Genius EX, 3300 to its name, swinging over with its attack boost, the Stardust Dragon defeating Yusei in this first matchup. Antinomy wins. Second duel, and Yusei has elected that Antinomy go first once more. ET sets and pass, taking it much easier than he did in the previous round between them. Yusei will start off with the Stardust Illumination spell card, sending a Stardust monster from the deck to the graveyard so that he can maybe use its ability later. He throws out the Stardust Synchron before normal summoning the Stardust Trail with 500 attack, a level 4 monster. And Yusei now activates Synchro Overtake. By revealing a Synchro monster in the extra deck, he can add to his hand or special summon from the deck or the graveyard a material that's listed on that Synchro monster. And he reveals the Jet Warrior so that he can special summon the Jet Synchron from the deck. Now we see the Boost Warrior get special summoned in defense mode since Yusei controls a tuner monster. It itself is a level 1 tuner as well, and the ability of the Stardust Synchron activates in grave. You can sacrifice a monster that's on your field in order to revive the Stardust Synchron, so he gets rid of the Jet Synchron to summon it out. And on summon, Stardust Synchron will search for a spell or a trap card that mentions the Stardust Dragon, so he gets to grab the Arrive in Light continuous spell, which will then immediately get activated, allowing him to stack his deck with the level 1 Dragon monster. Also, whenever Yusei Synchro Summon, he gets to use one of 2 effects, but only once each. 1. Draw a card, or 2. Special summon a tuner from the hand. The monster that he placed on top of the deck, by the way, was the Converging Wills Dragon. Now we see the Stardust Trail get tuned by the level 4 Stardust Synchron for the Stardust Dragon! On Synchro Summon, we have 2 different effects activating now. The Stardust Trail will summon a level 1 Stardust token with no points onto the field, and Arrive in Light will allow Yusei to either draw a card or summon a tuner. The token hits the field and Yusei chooses to draw a card. That's because the monster that he drew was the Converging Wills Dragon he stacked on top of his deck earlier, who can special summon itself whenever Yusei draws it. And Converging Wills Dragon can be used for the summon of a Majestic monster, as well as changing its name to Majestic Dragon on the field or in the graveyard. But that's not all, because the Converging Wills Dragon will also bring out another level 1 dragon from the deck. So here's the Stardust Worm coming out to the field. That's not all, because Yusei will now tune using the Stardust Worm, the Converging Wills Dragon, and the Stardust Token, along with the Stardust Dragon. Here comes the Shooting Majestic Star Dragon! A level 11 Synchro with 4,000 attack points. Once per turn, the Majestic Star Dragon can negate the effects of one effect monster on Antinomy's side of the field. It also gains an additional attack during the battle phase for every single monster in the graveyard that's named Stardust Dragon, or for every Synchro monster that uses Stardust Dragon somewhere in its text. In addition to all of this, once per turn, when the opponent activates a card or effect during anybody's turn, Majestic Star Dragon can banish itself until the end phase to negate and banish that card that got activated. He's still not done summoning monsters though, because that in itself was a Synchro Summon, so Arrive in Light will bring out the level 1 tuner DD Sprite from the hand. And now the Stardust Worm will revive itself from the graveyard since a level 8 or higher Dragon Synchro monster is out on the field. Now he gets to use the Stardust Worm with the different dimension sprite to synchro summon the Formula Synchron, who allows Yusei to draw an extra card once per turn so that his hand isn't completely empty, or at least for a quick moment, because he immediately sets the card that he drew. Now the Majestic Star Dragon will attack, then get met with the Sonic Stun to attempt to negate the attack and then summon a new monster. And this will go through as he summons out the Tech Genius Cyber Magician. However, with the second attack, the Majestic Star Dragon runs over the face down Tech Genius Cyber Magician. Since the Tech Genius has now been destroyed, it gets to use their shared ability that allows them to search any Tech Genius monster from the deck to the hand, and that's where the Majestic Star Dragon has had enough, banishing itself to then negate and banish that Cyber Magician before returning to the main monster zone. Antinomy's turn, and he draws and activates the Supply Squad continuous spell, so that once per turn when one of his monsters gets destroyed, he gets to draw an extra card on top of the search that his Tech Genius monsters would have already provided him. Tech Genius Striker is going to hit the field, a level 2 tuner, and he'll use the ability of Drillfish to attempt to summon itself, but that gets negated and then banished with the Majestic Star Dragon's ability. However, Striker can still swing over the Boost Warrior, or it would have if it wasn't for the Scrap Iron Scarecrow, negating the attack and setting itself back face down to be used on the next turn. Yusei sets a card and draws a card with the Formula Synchron, switches the Boost Warrior into attack mode, and uses the 600 attack Boost Warrior to swing over the Cyber Magician, triggering both the Cyber Magician search effect and the ability of Supply Squad to draw. He searched a TG Striker, by the way. Now, for the first attack of the shooting Majestic Star Dragon, he deals 3,200 points of damage to Antinomy. Striker searches another copy of itself, and then Antinomy takes 4,000 to the face, dropping him below the safety line at 800 life points. Yusei ends his turn. Only 5 turns into this duel so far, and we're seeing another negate activate, this time stopping the self-special summon ability of the Tech Genius Warwolf. He is losing resources very quickly. He sets another monster and passes his turn, but will that be enough for him? Formula Synchro draws a card. Justice Bringer gets summoned out with 2,000 attack points because it gets a 300 boost from the Boost Warrior. Enter the battle phase. Since the TG Striker has 0 defense, Boost Warrior can easily swing over it, allowing the Justice Bringer to destroy the final monster on the field, and that triggers the summon of the Metal Skeleton from the hand, eating 1 attack, but not both, as the shooting Majestic Star Dragon snatches away the second game. Yusei is declared the victor. We move on to the third round. The third and final round between Yusei Fudo and Antinomy. Antinomy has selected that Yusei go first, and he normal summons the last monster that he played, Justice Bringer, with 1,700. During the opponent's turn, by the way, when Justice Bringer is face up on the field, all special summon monsters have their effects negated, and they cannot be activated until the end phase. So, that negates the abilities of all the monsters that Antinomy is summoning out now, such as Cyber Magician and the Tech Genius Striker, who can special summon itself since Yusei had a monster and Antinomy did not. And here, on turn 1, is the Supply Squad, which is a very great card to open up early in the duel. So is the TGX 300, boosting these 2 monsters up. Being met with 2 face-down cards, Antinomy will end his turn there with 2 tuners in attack mode, significantly weaker than the monster that Yusei has. For Yusei's turn, though, he activates the 1-for-1 spell card, pitching out the Stardust Trail monster to summon a level 1 monster from the hand or the deck, and he picks the Tuning Wear in defense mode, before activating Stardust Illumination to throw away the Stardust Synchron from the deck, and he normal summons the level 2 monster Quillbolt Hedgehog, who then gets sacrificed to special summon back the Stardust Synchron from the graveyard. On summon, this not only allows him to grab a spell or a trap card, but Stardust Trail activates to revive herself as well, since a monster was tributed on Yusei's side of the field. And here is the Arriving Light once again. So we'll see the Converging Wills Dragon get stacked on top of the deck as 2 Stardust monsters create the Stardust Dragon, triggering both the Stardust token to be summoned and the draw of the Converging Wills Dragon, who summons forth the Stardust Worm, so that several monsters can be tuned together for the shooting Majestic Star Dragon on Yusei's second turn, mind you. And since Tuning Wear was one of the monsters used for a synchro summon, he gets to draw an additional card. Justice Bringer uses its 1700 to work as he attempts to attack the Cyber's Magician, and that gets met with the Sonic Stun to negate and then summon a monster, being the Catapult Dragon in defense mode. But can he do anything with his last face down about the Majestic Star Dragon? Likely not, but he'll attempt anyways as he activates a second copy of Sonic Stun. This also goes through fetching the Psy Reflector Tuner monster from the deck, who on summon could search an Assault Mode Activate Trap card. And that's where Yusei draws the line and triggers the Majestic Star Dragon to negate and banish from the game. However, Antinomy's life points are completely safe this turn. Now it is his move. Justice Bringer negating several monsters on the field now. Antinomy will use the Cyber's Magician and the TG Striker to link summon the Crystron Halki Fibrax to the field with 1500 attack points, but its abilities are negated as well. However, thanks to the boost that it gets from the TGX 300, with 1800 it can easily swing over the Justice Bringer, allowing both rulers to now use monster effects once more. Catapult Dragon destroying the token, by the way. Antinomy ends his turn there, and Yusei attempts to activate the Synchro Overtake so that he can summon a new monster for himself, but that's met with the Crystron Halki Fibrax effect to banish itself in order to summon out a Tuner Synchro monster from the extra deck, treating that as a Synchro summon. That is going to get shut down, though, by the Majestic Star Dragon, of course. Now the Synchro Overtake will summon out the Junk Synchron, special summoning it from the deck so that it does not get its ability, but it doesn't need it this time because Yusei will normal summon a level 2. The Junk Converter, tuning it with the Junk Synchron for the Junk Speeder. Here we go, vomiting out 4 Synchros now, one of which being the Junk Synchron from the graveyard thanks to the ability of the Junk Converter being sent from the field for a Synchro summon. So, and then, on top of all of that, Arriving Light draws Yusei an extra card. Now, coming to the field alongside the Junk Synchron, we have the Drill Synchron, Nitro Synchron, the Jet Synchron, and the Hyper Synchron. However, this means that there is no longer any room due to the Stardust Worm for the Junk Synchron to be revived from the graveyard, so it will stay where he is now. He's not done, though. He is not discouraged, as Yusei tunes the Stardust Worm with the Hyper Synchron for the Axel Synchron, a Tuner Synchro monster, who then immediately tunes the Junk Speeder into the Satellite Warrior. 2,500 attack points. When the Satellite Warrior gets Synchro Summoned, you can target cards on the opponent's side equal to the number of Synchro monsters that is in your graveyard, and then destroy those cards and give Satellite Warrior a 1,000 attack boost for each card destroyed. Counting off the Junk Speeder, the Axel Synchron, and the Stardust Dragon, the Satellite Warrior can now destroy all 3 of the cards on Antinomy's side of the field and then boost itself up to 5,500. This will trigger the Tech Genius monster effect to search for the Screw Serpent, though, but I have a feeling that he won't live long enough to use it. Next, Yusei activates the Quillbolt Hedgehog from the graveyard, summoning itself to the field, but banishing itself when it leaves the field, thanks to the fact that Yusei has a tuner on his side. He'll also activate the equipped spell that he drew earlier, the Blade Graveyard, giving the equipped monster 800 extra attack points, bringing the Satellite Warrior up to 6,300. He enters the battle phase and destroys Antinomy's life points, leaving him with only 1,700, and the Majestic Star Dragon returns to the field. Unfortunately for Yusei, he summoned all of his monsters in defense mode because of the Junk Speeder, so he could not capitalize and push for game. This gives Antinomy one last opportunity. He normal summons the Tech Genius Screw Serpent, who on summon can target a level 4 or lower Tech Genius in the graveyard, and then special summon it with its effects negated. And of course, that in it of itself will get negated. With his normal summon being used up and no special summons available to him, Antinomy sets a card and passes his turn as he accepts his fate. Yusei has surpassed him in the ways of the Axel Synchro, and Yusei attacks with the shooting Majestic Star Dragon, winning this duel.